and Chev. Welcome to Player Profiler today, Friday edition with Biggs and Chev. We are here to run down the Week 14 slate for you. We'll talk about a bunch of injuries and stuff like that. Oh, wait, I got breaking news. Green Bay Packers wide receiver Jayden Reed has gone missing. Nobody knows his location. Where is Jayden Reed?
Last seen leaving the stadium in Detroit or arriving at the stadium in Detroit.
I'm so glad that Jared Goff, hashtag Nevada boys, is, one defeated so far this year. Lions look like they are in the driver's seat for the NFC for the playoffs or for the Super Bowl. They beat the Green Bay Packers in a shootout, 34-31 last night. It was a pretty good game, except for Jayden Reed owners who are kind of reeling from that. And Packers fans in general who just hate losing to the Lions so bad.
I mean, listen, you got to take your medicine, okay? You're still really good. You have your third franchise quarterback in the last 40 years. Shut up about it.
Okay. No love lost between the Titans and Packers, apparently.
No, it's not that. It's not that. It's just that, it's like, bro, you're really good in a time that a team that sucked for 70 years is also really good. Like, be happy about that. Be happy that you're not the Titans.
Yeah, I was just saying that they're just. It's a rivalry game that
it's not directed at you. It's not directed at you.
I know.
It's just that like Packers fans are like, oh my god, the Lions.
Are they like that?
I have a buddy who's a Packers fan, and it's just.
Coach Redslaff getting into the chat. He was on our show on the Undroppables last night. We had a 40-minute debate about Rachaad White and Buck Ewing.
Well, it really wasn't. It was about hypothetical fantasy situations for Rachaad White. We all agree that Bucky is really good, but like the fact that Rachaad White gets absolutely pooped on in this whole deal just kind of makes me. It was like, guys, come on now. He's not trash. He's just not.
For those of you out there that play Dynasty, just allow him to fall, allow him to drop in value, and then go grab him.
Yeah, you dropped a bar on that last night too.
I mean, he's got his career in front of him. It's not like
Is he what, 24?
25.
25.
Yeah. Also, somebody in the show said something about we're talking about be a thermostat, not a thermometer, and I was floored. That was amazing. All right, but we're not here to talk about Dynasty Fantasy. We're not here to talk about fantasy football at all. We're here to talk about NFL football in general, and if it relates to your fantasy teams, that's pretty cool. Let's get the game started. We got the Jets going to the Dolphins. Jets are 3-9. Dolphins are 5-7. Neither of them is having the season that they expected to coming out of the gate. I'm pretty sure that if you had asked both of those teams at the beginning of 2024 if they were going to be in the playoffs, both of them would have told you absolutely. But as it stands, we've got the Dolphins as 6-point favorites at home. Their passing defense isn't that great, but the Jets' passing offense hasn't been that great either. Should be an okay game for Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. But the big news is Breece Hall is likely going to miss the game with an injury. Does that hurt the Jets' chances even more, Chev?
The Jets had no chance at winning this game in the first place. So
no.
I mean, it hurts fantasy teams. It hurts your betting props. It does not hurt their odds to win the game because those odds were less than probably 10% anyway.
Right. And I think the only person who's happy about it on this planet is Braylon Allen's mom. For the Jets, C.J. Mosley is out. The aforementioned Breece Hall is doubtful. Sauce Gardner is doubtful too. Not good, Bob. Olumuyiwa Fashanu. Oh, that's Olu Fashanu.
Yeah. I was like, wait, that's the tackle from Penn State.
Yeah, he was my big target in the draft. Morgan Moses, Xavier Newman-Johnson, Elijah Vera-Tucker, and Stiggers are questionable for the Jets. For the Dolphins, Raheem Mostert, Teron Armstead, Bradley Chubb, Cameron Good, Anthony Walker, Kadir Kohu, and Blake Ferguson are all questionable. I like them. I like the Dolphins big in this one, especially if Sauce is missing.
Dolphins, yes. Dolphins by 1 million. Hashtag analysis.
Psychopath.
Look, we're riding the 2 TD train with Coach Retzlaff from here on out. Okay, guys.
Imagine if Jeremiah dropped a G, 1K on plus 850 for 2 Braylon Allen touchdowns.
I think honestly I have a friend that will do that if I tell him that he played Tim Patrick for 2 touchdowns last night. He'll be like, "Hey, what's that guy? The guy that played Tim Patrick last night. What's that guy? What's he got for Sunday?
What's he got on Braylon Allen?"
Yeah.
All right. Miami and a wash. Even though it's a divisional game, it's really the tale of 2 franchises. They're kind of like cat dog. Each one of them is moving in a different direction.
Let me pose a question to you real quick before we move on from this game. Which team would you like to see more make a late season surge and get in as like a 7 seed wild card? The Miami Dolphins or the Cincinnati Bengals?
That's tough because I got a Joe Burrow jersey behind me. If it means that Pittsburgh misses the playoffs entirely, I'm going to say Cincinnati.
What? Why would you? What?
I hate the Steelers.
Look, I get that, but like they're leading the division. They're probably in the least danger.
I know. So take them out.
So you want them out completely?
I want them out. Swap them with Cincinnati. I'm good with that.
Oh wow! You got Cincinnati coming back and winning the division. That would be mathematically possible at this point.
Probably not. I really do like Mike McDaniel. I root for Tua just because you have to at this point.
Right.
I like Tyreek Hill. I've always been a Jalen Ramsey fan, even among the
Nashville boys.
He gets negative press, and I've always been a fan. At a certain point, I don't mind your attitude if you can back it up on the field. And when you're one of the best quarterbacks that ever played,
and here's the thing, he's always been like that. Like going back to high school. He's just always been like that. So
but there's some certain people in the media that if that was coming from Joe Burrow, they'd be fine with it, but it's coming from Jalen, so they're not.
Of course.
And so that makes me root extra hard.
He's probably going to be a first ballot. Him and Patrick Peterson are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers. Like that's hey, we win. That's it.
Yeah. Now, one of the things about Ramsey, like he's getting on in his career. He's not as surprised as he was, and he was never like a big time interception machine anyway. But I saw him make a play against the Raiders a couple of years ago. It was when Aiden O'Connell was just taking over after the Josh McDaniels exit, and he was linking up with Trey Tucker deep a couple times and throwing absolute dimes. And the Raiders were trying to get back into the game, and he unleashed like a 45-yard pass into the end zone. And you can see if you slow it down and then pause it, as Trey Tucker is falling to the ground, that ball is like right in his basket. It was just one of the most perfectly thrown balls I've ever seen. And Ramsey comes out of nowhere and just snatches it. It was such an incredible play. It was an amazing throw. He put it in the bucket.
This is why he's a first ballot Hall of Famer,
right? Man. And I was just like, oh, Jalen, I can't hate you for that. That was amazing.
No,
so
it's been fun. It's been fun. I've followed him since high school. We played against his high school when I was in high school, so I followed that high school for quite some time. They put out some pretty good NFL players. But yeah, watching what he's turned into is just. Because I thought he was going to play at receiver when he got to college, but then, like, he obviously made the right choice. And the craziest part is, I think Travis Hunter is like 99 overall sliders turned up version of Jalen Ramsey.
Wow. Well, thank God he's going to be a Raider. So Bradley Chubb is also rootable. There's a lot of rootable guys on the Dolphins. Again, with the media narrative, there's like talk about Zach Taylor. I think Zach Taylor is a perfectly fine coach. I'm getting really tired of like the unfair getting run out of town because of crap. So I'm kind of rooting for him. I like LSU, so I'm a Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase fan.
So
I think I'd say Dolphins though.
Okay. I would also say Dolphins because their defense probably gives them a better chance to stay in games than the Bengals defense does. The Zach Taylor getting run out of town thing is complete garbage because of all of the talent that they've let walk out over the course of the last 2 years. Like you let Jesse Bates walk, you let Cheeto walk, you let DJ Reader walk. Those are just 3 guys off the top of my head that were key pieces of that defense. And then you expect them to continue to play at that level with Lou Anarumo. And now they're talking about Lou Anarumo being the problem. And I principally have a problem with that because it's like, this is not plug and play. Like
Lou Anarumo was the belle of the ball 2 years ago. What are you talking about?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So saying that the coaching staff is part of the problem just makes zero sense to me.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
Hey dudes. Hey Jimmy, what's going on? And I know a lot of you are sitting there going, I thought you guys were going to talk about NFL news. Now you're yeah, that's what we do. This is how we bop. All right. Next game is the Falcons and the Vikings, 6-6. Revenge game for Kirk Go Chains. Minnesota Vikings hosting 10-2. Trap game for the Falcons. Jace McClellan is out. Okay. Mike Hughes is questionable, and my favorite name in the entire NFL, Rukaroro, is questionable as well. For the Vikings, Stephon Gilmore is out. Okay. Dalton Risner is questionable. Harrison Phillips, Patrick Jones, Pat Jones, or as I like to say, no, I don't want to say that. Andrew Van Ginkel, Will Reichard, and Andrew DePaula are all questionable. Vikings, I don't see Atlanta doing anything. Let's look at the spread and stuff. Minnesota 25.5. Atlanta 20.5. They're 5-point favorites. Bijan.
Does that not feel a little weird to you?
No.
Porque?
Because I feel like Vegas might just want a little bit more action from Minnesota fans.
So they're laying less points to get more action on the Minnesota side.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this should be like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Like that's I don't know. That struck me immediately when I was like, I thought for sure this was at least 7. And I'd be comfortable going 8. But I guess, I don't know.
Maybe the money is on Kirk, like revenge.
That would be you have to be a Coach Retzlaff level individual to put money on the Falcons after seeing what they just put on tape last week. I mean, like, you can't – obviously the NFL is a week-to-week game. However, if you saw any of what they did at home against the Chargers last week, you can't have any confidence in them going on the road against this team and saying, yeah, they're going to play way better than they did last week. Like, I just don't get it.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm heavy on the Vikings minus 5.5.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I think there's not a lot of money out there on it, and so they're trying to compensate. All right, we got the Saints at 4-8. They're on their way to New York. Bub Means is out. Taysom Hill is out. Nick Saldiveri is out. Kendre Miller is back. I'm so happy. Tano Kapassanon is questionable. For the Giants, Raheem Nunez-Roche, Bobby Okereke, Deontay Banks are out. Raiders legend Jermaine Illuminor, DJ Davidson are doubtful. Chris Hubbard, Evan Neal, Jordan Riley, Deontay, not the Deontay Johnson, and Andrew Phillips are all questionable. Also questionable, Malik Neighbors. What do you make of the Malik Neighbors injury? Where do you see where do you see him like fitting in on Sunday? Is he going to play? Is there any reason to play him?
No. And I've gotten past the point of wanting to be right about him being hampered completely by Daniel Jones. I think that point has been beaten into the ground by enough people. I don't have to go there. But yeah, if I'm the Giants and he picked up an injury and he didn't practice today, yeah, shut him down.
Bubble wrap.
Like, you've seen enough to know that he is like an Omega level talent. Like, he's why would you do this? Put him out there, let him tear his hip flexor, had to have like sports hernia surgery or whatever, why? Why would you do this? You're 2-10. You're going to have the number 1 pick in the draft.
It's just another aspect of how unfortunate it was for him to get picked up by, say, the Giants. I feel like a lot of his injuries are cascading injuries. They're domino effect injuries where
100%.
one injury affects and leads to injuries further than that. So he like twists an ankle, that leads to a calf strain, that leads to a hamstring strain, that leads to a groin pull, and that leads to a hip flexor injury. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
And so the Giants training room is garbage. I mean, it's just a bad organization. Not a great quarterback for him to, like, he hasn't had quarterback luck. Reminds me a lot of, I'm not comparing them talent-wise at all, but it reminds me a lot of the start to Treylon Burks' career, where it just like one thing after another that was just dumb luck, just bad luck.
Yeah. I mean, it's a terrible situation. That's a terrible situation to be in. And you think of the Giants as, for lack of a better pun, like a blue blood, legacy organization in the NFL, and it's turned really bad very quickly over the course of the last 8 years
since Hall of Famer Eli Manning left. We got a fantasy question. We'll answer that real quick, but that's kind of not what we do. Shadows Wicked. Thanks for getting in the chat. Pick 2. 1 RB, 1 flex. Nick Westbrook, Akine, Braylon Allen, Rico Dowdle, Rachaad White. If Bucky is out, thanks in advance. I'm going Braylon and Rico.
Yep. Simple enough.
All right. Okay. Back to the Saints and the Giants. I mean, I'm such a huge Derek Carr stan that I think they put themselves in position. I think that the 2 games to watch, especially like we're pretty confident that Atlanta's going to move to 6 and 7. New Orleans is trying to claw back in it. If they can go on a late season run, they've got 5 games left. If they can somehow finish the season 9 and 8, and the Buccaneers Buccaneers and Falcons stumble a little bit, the Saints could find themselves working into the playoffs.
Don't do this. Don't, please. That's the last team that I want to see in the playoffs. They're too injured. They're too injured to put up a meaningful fight.
But their uniforms are so cool.
They're okay, I guess.
And don't you want Alvin Kamara to have some late career flowers?
No. I want him to demand a trade to a winning organization so that he gets his swan song RB1 overall record breaking 1,000 season like Christian McCaffrey and Saquon got.
So you just want him to be like the RB version of Michael Thomas. I get it. All right.
I want him to demand a trade.
Jamie, I want to put your comments on the screen, but I can't because of the cuss words. Sorry. And another fantasy question. Calvin Austin, EJ Moore, Quentin Johnson, or McCormick. Quit fantasy football. No, I'm just kidding. I stay away from McCormick. Alexander Madison's healthy. He's the number 1 guy. Amir Abdullah is the number 2 guy. We want to wish good things for Sincere McCormick, but sincerely, he's not going to play much. I am ordering those. Quentin Johnson, Elijah Moore, Calvin Austin, Sincere McCormick.
Is Alexander Madison going to play?
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about that here shortly.
Yeah, we will. All right. Panthers, Eagles. Who you got?
I just hope that Bryce Young makes it out of this thing healthy.
Would it change if I said that Reed Blankenship is out?
It's still that is not going to change the fact that Jalen Carter is going to be chasing him around like a madman.
Okay. Carolina's 3-9. They're a crap show on the level of the Jags, the Giants.
No. They just played the Chiefs to a draw,
Titans.
pretty much. They're better than us. I will say that.
Did the Raiders.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't say that they're a complete crap show, and they're playing good football. They're playing enjoyable football to watch on both sides of the ball.
All I'm saying is that all of those teams are crap shows. For the Panthers, Jalen Coker is doubtful. Jatavian Sanders is questionable. Robert Hunt is questionable. Jadeveon Clowney, DJ Wonnum, Josie Jewell, Caleb Farley, and Nick Scott are questionable. For the Eagles, Britton Covey, Dallas Goedert, and Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown are out. Grant Calcaterra season.
It's never Grant Calcaterra season, not even if there's a fire, not even if my feet are on fire. See how I clean that up for the Profiler show?
Yeah. All right, Mr. Magic is in with another fantasy question. Jacoby JSN or DK full PPR? JSN, Jacoby, DK.
Yep. I got no issues with that.
All right, and then our next game is Philadelphia is going to walk.
I take Panthers to cover, Philly to win. Saquon, whatever props you can get on Saquon, do those.
Okay.
You don't like you would lay the 13?
It's 12.
Is it 12?
Yeah, that's
so money. It was at 12.5, so money's come in on.
Maybe it moved since Wednesday. Yeah.
Let's see here. That's 12 is so many points for a team that's playing. They're playing some sneaky good football. Also as well too. Sidebar: Ashton Genty goes on in about an hour.
Okay, I will be at work.
You have TVs at work?
Yeah, it's called YouTube TV on my phone.
So Sportacular has it 13.5 for Philly.
Okay. You give the points. Because there's not a lot of games that are blowouts like that. The average game is not that spread that far. But it's the only way that I see it not hitting that big of a victory for the Eagles is if they just like slow it down, just not to be fair or nice, but just like unnecessary. But that depends on how much their defense creates chaos. All right, Mr. Magic is back. Saints D versus Giants or Titans D versus Jacks. I go Saints in this one.
Yeah, Saints D, easy.
And Jamie trying to argue with me. The Podfather cusses up a storm every show. I wouldn't worry about dirty words.
You're also not employed by him, champ. So
right. I talked about this on a show last night that we did. Chev was there, and on another network that I have to keep my mouth clean. And this is literally Matt's network. It's his gig. If he wants to do it, he wants to do it. Right. But I'm representing him professionally, so I'm not gonna.
Right.
Come on our Undroppables shows and cuss all you want. Player Profiler has a start-sit show Sunday morning for roster questions. So do I on Fantasy Football Advice Network. It's called Breakfast with Pigs, and everybody should watch that also. But we're here to preempt that. We're here to let you.
We're going to bring you the news so that you know what to ask on Sunday morning, guys.
Yeah, or sleep in because you heard it from us first. All right. The game that Jamie wants to hear about, Raiders and I'm kidding. Cleveland visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cleveland 3-9, Steelers 9-3. Their records are palindromic. For the Browns, Cedric Tillman is out. I thought he was going to play. Maybe that has changed in the last couple hours.
Me too.
Jedrick Wills is out. Sam Kamara is out, and Raiders legend Maurice Hurst is out. Jamari Thrash, oh man, I had such high hopes for him.
Don't
Questionable.
give up yet. We've seen that guys that look dead in year 1 are not always dead in year 2.
Yeah, I did a model that predicted the bottom 5 wide receivers in the model that I made have like done absolutely nothing. And somebody contacted me on Twitter the other day, and he was like, "This is looking pretty good. What did you do?" And like I told him the metrics that I used and everything. It had Malik Neighbors at number 1. Jamari Thrash was number 2. Or no, sorry, Ladd McConkey was number 2. Jamari Thrash was like in the 3 or 4 range. Just like numbers off the charts. Analytically, and it just shows you how much opportunity and coach perception has to do with what happens in a career.
100%. Yes.
Breakfast with Biggs starts at 8 a.m. Pacific time. It runs 8 to 8:30, leading into Spilled Coffee. So just you can find it. Thrash is not trash, Jamie. You watch it. You can find it on my Twitter at BigBoatedFFB. All right. Steelers at Browns. We got through the Browns. Montravius Adams for the Steelers is out, and George Pickens is questionable.
Yeah, he picked up a hamstring injury. It makes me real sad.
Oh, I don't think there are 2 bigger fans on this planet of George Pickens than Chev and me.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I had to be convinced to become a George Pickens fan at first.
I just had to see him in front of that TV with the headgear on, and I was just like, I'm his forever.
Well, no, I like one of my co-hosts, on the pod was like, "Hey, what about this George Pickens guy?" And I was like, "Man, I don't know. And then I got into the highlights, and I was like, okay, maybe so. And then I got into the preseason his rookie year, and I was like, definitely yes.
We have some trivia.
Is that real?
Did you know Pickens is the great nephew of Bo Jackson? I had no idea, but I knew there was some kind of cosmic, unexplainable connection that I had to that guy.
That would make sense as to why he's able to make the weird, inexplicable catches, but just brain farts because he didn't get all of the Bo Jackson genetics.
Oh, okay. Bo knows. Bo is smart.
Yeah, Bo knows, but George Pickens doesn't know all the time, just sometimes.
I really love the Hard Knocks scene where he comes off the field and Mike Tomlin grabbed him and just like dadded the heck out of him.
Yeah. It's really. By the way, guys, not a sponsor, but if you haven't watched the first episode of the AFC North Hard Knocks, it is absolutely riveting. If you love the behind the scenes looks at preparation into like week in, week out of the NFL season. So yeah, please check that out.
I really like what they've been doing in season. I really like single team focus, but I also really like the whole division. It just adds some dynamics to the episode. I just wish the Browns weren't involved. So at this point, Cleveland's implied total is 19, and it is 25.5 for the Steelers. So 6.5 point favorites for Pittsburgh. I feel like they want money on the Browns. So
I'm laying money on the over.
So you think so? Weather's clear. This turns into a divisional matchup, and Jameson Williams goes off, or Jameson. What's his
Jameis Winston?
Jameis Winston. Yeah.
So I said this.
Mike screwed me up because he always calls him Jameson, and it messed my brain up. Jameis Winston. How do I not? I know that.
So I said this earlier. I went live on the TikTok account to do some start sit earlier. That had all the makings of a shootout before 12 inches of snow came down in like 15 minutes.
Right.
And I think that both of these teams understand each other's coverage scheme well enough to be able to get some good looks. I don't feel like the Steelers are going to shut down the Browns. I feel like Jameis could throw his way into the Steelers defense getting a pick six, but he's not delivered from the pick sixes yet. He's not.
No, he's good for 2.
Oh,
what's
so
the prop on 2
said,
Jameis Winston pick sixes, Jeremiah?
Hey, if it's less than plus 20,000, I lay it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Cleveland with the points and bet the over. Drop Gus Edwards for someone off waivers. Braylon Allen and Garendo are gone. No. I think you're looking at like Isaiah Davis maybe. That's probably about it. Hang on to Gus Bus.
Okay,
all right.
All.
The most important matchup in all of the NFL this week: the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Tampa, who are 6-6. The Raiders are 2-10. I say most important because they're fighting with the New York Giants for that number 1 pick. Unfortunately for the New York Giants, this is a Raiders team that is traveling across the country at 10 a.m. And the Buccaneers are fighting. For the Raiders, Zamir White is out. Nate Hobbs is out. Justin Shorter is doubtful. Alexander Madison and Jacoby Myers are questionable but will play. For the Buccaneers, Marquise Watts, Troy Hill, Mike Edwards are all out. Bucky Irving and Mike Evans. Bucky Irving and Mike Evans practiced today. Mike Evans has found himself off of the injury designation. So Bucky Irving, Trey Palmer, Joe Tryon, Shoyinka, JJ Russell, and Josh Hayes and Tyke Smith are all questionable for the Buccaneers. I think a little bit later I'm going to go shopping and try on a Shoyinka. This line is probably pretty big. 20 points for the Raiders, 27, 7-point Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like that. I feel like this is going to turn into a shootout. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers allow a ton of points to fantasy quarterbacks and wide receivers. So
they've allowed at least 60 yards or a score in every game since week 5.
Yeah, I think Aiden O'Connell, Brock Bowers, and Jacoby Myers all cook in this game. I don't know what Tampa Bay does about preventing the deep pass, but if Aiden can hook up with Trey Tucker a couple times, they could keep this game closer than 7 points. I just don't see it. I feel like as capable as the Raiders are of going over their 20-point implied total and getting to like 27 or 30 points, I feel like Tampa Bay can put 40 on the Raiders.
I 100%. I agree 100%. I'm really, really bullish on every single Tampa Bay option this week, and I'm also very bullish on all of the pass catching options for the Raiders this week. I would love it if they would give the bulk of the work to Sincere McCormick, but apparently we're going to have to suffer through Alexander Madison going 3.3 yards a carry.
Yep, and maybe like break something for 40 yards and then have like a vulture touchdown. Tampa Bay's performance against wide receivers in fantasy this year: 23.4 points per game against wideouts and 12.8 points per game against slot receivers. So they're definitely more apt to give up points to outside guys. But what did they do against tight ends?
Ooh, the Raiders or the Bucks?
The Buccaneers.
Bucks. I'm or top 8 easiest or best matchups for the tight end. That's off the top of my head. I'm looking at that for you right now.
They're right next to the Raiders. Big games for Cotton and Brock. Yeah. All right. Do I think Swift is playing? Do we think Swift is playing? No.
Is he not practicing?
No.
Did he not practice today?
We hadn't gotten there yet.
Yeah. Hey, stay tuned for more from the Player Profiler News today.
Keep watching, Caden. Sorry you have to live through my Raider takes first. All right. The pillow fight of the week: Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Tennessee Titans. Jaguars: Yasir Abdullah, Tyson Campbell, Logan Cook, and Ross Matishik are questionable. For the Titans, Jalen Duncan, Logan Bruss are out. Treylon Burks is going to miss the rest of the season. He's not coming back, you guys. Leroy Watson, Tavondre Sweat, Jerome Baker, Kenneth Murray, James Williams, Jarvis Brownlee, and Roger McCreary are all questionable for the Titans. Who you got in this one, Titans fan?
I have the Titans.
I'm personally rooting for the Jaguars just because I want a game clear in that draft pick race.
I've accepted the fact that we're probably going to have Will Levis in 2025, but we'll draft Kelvin Banks. So thrilled about that.
I mean, your next quarterback is always still on your roster. So it could be Mason Rudolph could start the season next year.
Why would you say that to me? That's so
because the carousel at quarterback in Tennessee is comical. Tennessee is only 3.5-point favorites. I don't see Jacksonville keeping this close. So yeah, there's gonna be more point.
There's gonna be more than 39.5 points scored. I feel comfortable saying that.
I got the Titans big in this one, and I don't think Jacksonville can do anything against Will Levis. I think this is the kind of game where it's gonna catapult Will Levis into like fantasy relevant conversations, and then he's just gonna disappear back to his QB20 role.
The schedule for Will Levis over the next few weeks will 100% determine whether or not he's back as a quarterback. It's so easy. I mean,
it looks good. I mean, Calvin Ridley is like the best matchups rest of the season for any wide receiver. All right. Seattle and Arizona. This is a big divisional matchup. A lot of playoff implications. We were wrong last night. Seattle is top of that division. Arizona is 6-6. For the Seahawks, Stone Forsythe is out. Kenneth Walker, Michael Dixon, and DK Metcalf are questionable. I don't know why DK is not listed here. For the Cardinals, Elijah Jones is out. Naquan Jones and Dante Stills are questionable. This is a tough one to call. Arizona's at home. And a lot of times that can be a problem for them. And we talked about them on the show before. They didn't live up to they almost did. They kept it close last week against Minnesota. Regular viewers of the show know that my take on the Cardinals is that they are the yappy little dog, the annoying big brother that won't stay, or little brother that won't stay out of your room. They win the games they're not supposed to, and they lose the games that they are. So, like I thought that they could pull out an upset against Minnesota.
They should have.
It didn't happen. I know. That's just the kind of team that the Cardinals are. They're annoying. They're a parasite. So I could very easily see them taking care of business at home against the Seahawks. Although Seahawks are playing better, and this one's kind of up in the air.
I'm going Seahawks here. I don't want to, but I'm going Seahawks here.
Arizona is favored by 2.5, and that's at home, which means that they're getting the 3-point home field advantage, but Seattle's better. So I'm with you. I'm going Seattle.
Yeah, their defense, their D line, ever since they traded for Ernest Jones, they have been, absolute nails against the run and pass. So,
and it doesn't matter if DK is playing or not. No. They're covered.
No, their offense has been equally putrid, as good as their defense has played over the last 5 weeks or 6 weeks. Excuse me. So yeah,
we got the Buffalo Bills at 10-2 on their way to the AFC Championship, up against the Los Angeles Rams, who are fighting in that really, really close NFC West, and it's going to be even closer this week. For the Bills, Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid, Quentin Morris, Tylen Grable, and Dwayne Carter are questionable. For the Rams, Tyler Higbee and KT Levison are out. Jared Verse is questionable. Do the Bills have a chance in this one?
Do the Bills have a chance in this one? I'm going to say yes.
Okay. It is at LA.
And the Bills Mafia will have probably just as many fans as the glamour and glitzy LA Rams inside of SoFi Stadium.
Probably. And Bills are only 4.5-point favorites. I have them minus the points.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Almost done, and then I get to go to work. Chicago Bears at San Francisco 49ers. If the Bears do what we think they're going to do, then the Niners go to 6-7, and they're not out of the NFC West playoff run. If the Bears get a little punchy, knock those knock those Niners to 5-8. I think things get a little bit more murky for them. For the Bears, my guy Roschon Johnson out today. Ryan Bates, Elijah Hicks are also out for the Bears. DeAndre Swift and DJ Moore have questionable tags. Let me see if I can. Dead air. Everybody loves dead air. Dead air. Everybody loves dead air.
I was curious as to what you were going to say, so I was on a cliff over here too. While we're thinking about that, what confidence level do you have in Rome Odunze?
As far as what this week, in general?
This week, if for some reason,
if DJ Moore doesn't play,
DJ Moore can't play.
5 or 6 catches, 60 or 70 yards, maybe get a touchdown. I mean, like it's a system, it's a quarterback, and he has the talent that I believe if he needed to step into like the primary target role, he could. But again, there are going to be rookie missteps. He was my number 4 wide receiver of the rookie class. So, I mean, I still have high value on him. I have a high rating on him.
I mean, in Dynasty, everybody's still really high on him, but I just curious as to what if you thought that it would click this year at all.
You know, I mean, it's a great question, and I have him in a very important league. At this point, he's had 3 double-digit games this season. One of them was 23.4 points, finishes wide receiver 7 in week 3. That's been about it. This is a tough matchup against San Francisco, and then he's like green the whole way down. He's had 26 targets in the last 3 games. Hasn't done a whole lot with it. So you could say breakout's coming, and if DJ Moore doesn't play this week, maybe this is the week for it.
Right. That's kind of where I land too, man. I just can't. I keep saying that the targets are going to turn into something big, but it just hasn't. It hasn't worn. It hadn't worked out that way. But I feel like if you removed one of the options, it 100% could.
Yeah.
Work out for at least in a weak setting. Like the thing that I always go back to is my comp for him was a mix between Keenan and Devontae Adams, but just more athletic than both of them. And so
I mean he was able to play able to line up everywhere, but he was primarily an X in Washington. So I think the Devontae comp is a little bit closer. Keenan is just such a slot god that I think Devontae was a little bit closer. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe but both of them took 3 or 4 years to get it going. So you may be right on that part of it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it flashed for Devontae, but he was playing behind Randall Cobb and Jordy his rookie year. And then his second year, he absolutely sucked because he was working through that injury. So I'm hoping that that's not the arc. It's more like Keenan Allen, where he had 1,000 yards and then averaged 8 yards a catch his second year, but he still got the volume. I don't know.
We got some fantasy stuff popping off. Jamie said Ingram is considered a top 5 tight end this week. How is Otten on waivers? Apparently Ron Garcia is in his league. Someone just dropped him a couple days ago, and he clears tomorrow. Pick up Cade Otten,
Ottenheimer is inevitable.
Odd night. That's good. Dub Nation, what's up?
Yeah.
Town business. Need two neighbors: Mooney, Addison, Westbrook, Akine. That just cracks me up. Elijah Moore, Kenneth Walker. I'm going Mooney and Kenneth Walker. Or actually, no, Mooney and Addison. I like, but every time I count on Addison, he breaks my heart.
Yeah, you're destined to hurt yourself if you find yourself dependent on Jordan Addison.
But Neighbors is likely not going to play. If he does, I mean, you have to play him. Jamie says Odunze or Rashi Rice in Dynasty. Odunze or Pickens. That's not. I like Pickens, Odunze, then Rashi.
I would be Odunze last out of those three.
I flip him just because Rashi is on the Chiefs, and I can't ever count on a receiver in the Chiefs offense.
That's fair.
In best ball, that's a different story. I go Stacks. All right. So do we think the Bears are going to be punchy enough to beat the 49ers without Christian McCaffrey?
No, they're gonna do their thing. They're gonna do the hey, it's really close, and I'll find a way to lose.
All right. We got the Chargers at 8-4 traveling to Kansas City. For the Chargers, Denzel Perryman is doubtful. Ladd McConkey is questionable. Junior Colson is questionable. So is Tony Jefferson. For the Chiefs, Mecole Hardman is questionable. Somehow the chefs and the refs are going to figure out a way to win, but I think it's going to be closer than people think just because the Chiefs haven't been playing very well. The Chargers have, and the Chiefs showed their ass last week against the Raiders.
If they can't figure out a way to protect Patrick Mahomes, they're going to get dog walked on their home turf. Khalil Mack's a full participant in practice. Yeah, they're going to get murdered if they can't. Can I say they're going to get handled very handily on their home field if they can't figure out what's going on at left tackle.
Yeah, I think it stays closer than people think. Allen or Tracy in PPR? I say Tracy if DJ Moore plays. Allen if DJ Moore does not play.
Wait, Braylon Allen or Keenan?
Oh, I was thinking Keenan.
Most of us are, but then it just came out Breece Hall's doubtful today, so people have been asking quite a few of those questions.
I still go Tracy over Allen.
I agree,
but I like Allen a lot this week.
Yeah.
All right, and to finish this up, we got the Monday night tilt is Cincinnati traveling to Dallas to take on Jura and the Dallas Cowboys. Cincinnati, their offense is 35 points good. Their defense is 36 points bad.
That's wild.
Does Dallas hold home court?
No.
Cincinnati is currently
6.5.
4.5.
Or
it moved again. All right, I have it at 4.5. That's
let me check my sources. Let's see. I feel like that one was 4.5. It's 5. So Sportacular has it at 5.5 now.
5.5. That's not good for the Cowboys.
Being a 5.5 point dog to a 4-8 team is wild.
How about them Cowboys? All right. And then finally, before we get out of here, start one PPR. Freiermuth, Kincaid, or Ferguson. I think you got to go Kincaid, Ferguson, and Freiermuth.
Yeah, I would go Ferguson first because the Bengals are absolutely putrid against the tight end. And Logan Wilson is on IR now. He's like a linebacker they have that could cover.
I mean, you have Kincaid and Ferguson who are both coming back from injury. But once they get on the field, I don't think that matters enough. I like Kincaid a lot, and Keon Coleman's banged up. So I think you can't go wrong with either of those two guys. And then Freiermuth is like the touchdown dependent third choice. Real quick, you guys, check this like go to fastdraft.app and download it.
Incredible news about Fast Draft. Fast Draft DFS is live. It's called the Flex 6 Frenzy. You just draft 6 guys, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends for the Sunday slate. You like Jahmyr Gibbs? You like Jackson Smith and Jigba? You like Tyrone Tracy? Draft him. And the beauty is you can just order 5 teams, submit your rankings, and Fast Draft will email you the results. We awarded $1,000 in prizes our first week, and we're just going up from there. Soon there's going to be a select 6. No drafting at all. You just pick any 6 guys. Our DFS mantra, just say no to salaries on Fast Draft. Don't forget there's free tools on Fast Draft too. You want to get ready for startup season? We've created the best Dynasty mock draft experience there is. And if you want to play in these DFS contests, and our best ball contest for 2025 are coming very soon too, just use promo code PODFATHER when you deposit and you get a free draft. It's that easy. And you're like, oh, I already have Fast Draft. Great. Refer a friend. Have them put your username in as the promo code, and then you and your friend will both get an instant deposit match up to $25. We got DFS. We got Dynasty Mocks. We got Best Ball. It's all there for you on fastdraft.app. Check it out. And the promo code is PODFATHER.
Yeah, use promo code BigBoned, and right now I'm waiting on a draft. So download the app, get in there, and jump in this draft with me. Come on.
All right. Get in there.
I got to take my dog for a walk, brush my teeth, and go to work. I will talk to you guys next week. Same time, same bat channel. And have a great weekend. What do you got to say, Chev?
Find us on all the social media platforms. You can follow the pod, 2 Guys 1 Pod FF, or me at Chev90 on the platform formerly known as Twitter and Blue Sky or whatever else. Yeah, good luck. Finger guns.
Find us, friend us, forget us. Later.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.
Gotta go.